welcome back. You know, we might actually make this a two-parter, so we might break it in the middle and air the second half the next week. But we were talking about some really great stuff that I hope everybody found a lot of value in. I know I did, Tony did, as Bret was speaking, and we just wanted to kind of continue that for a little bit longer. So if we decide to make this a little bit longer, then we'll air part one, and then part two will be the following week. So please don't get mad if we cut you off at the middle of the show and you have to wait another week for it to come. It'll all be worth it, I promise.
You can call me, and I'll tell you exactly what the second is.
And he'll give you winning numbers from yesterday. Actually, those numbers would be updated because you'd have some time.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely, right. So we were talking about some really impactful stuff, Bret, and I just thought we could talk about something actually we were discussing when the camera was off. Again, we had a camera behind us that was filming the whole time. You guys would catch some really amazing stuff. But you said something that really kind of stuck in my mind from a few minutes ago, which is avoidance and knowing when to avoid stuff that could be detrimental to us, that maybe we don't necessarily take the time to step back and say, is this the right thing for me? So I think it's a big part in everybody's life where we want to do the most that we can for those who ask without really taking a step back to say, is this right? Is it right for me? Is it right for my family? Is it right for my business? Is it right, for a couple of different aspects? And what we do is we make the commitment without really saying, wait a minute, is this something I need to avoid, or is it something that I need to really, jump into and be a part of? So if you could share with everybody what that process looks like and why that's important for them, that maybe they just don't realize yet but can gain it by what you have to share.
Well, first of all, I'm going to give my ex-wife a lot of credit here, because her intuition on what she saw in my work habits and in my choices play into my life even today, and I've been divorced for about 13 years. Women do have the intuition to be able to look at something from a broader perspective. We just typically hear something, it spurs something in our minds, and we are just all over it like a hungry animal because we know what we can do with it. But the reality of it is that you can't always depend on what the other side is offering you, or like I talked during the break about empty promises. We get so caught up into wanting to win, and then we fail at really seeing if there's even a possibility of a win. And then later, 3 months later, 5 months later, or even 3 years later, we look back and go, why didn't we see that we couldn't win? And if you're sitting there right now and you're listening to my words, it's life lessons. To be able to fully understand that your time is precious. Every single second that you put into the day, values of who you become and who you are the next day. So between your choices that you actually put out there and having a chance to be, I can't let this go. If I don't do this, Dave's going to get it. And I'm going to watch him succeed and I'm going to regret. We tell ourselves that all the time, that somebody else is going to win with this if I don't jump on it. I got to jump on it now. And then that's when the women come in. Most often they say, you're not seeing the whole picture. Give it time. Pray about it. Step back and see, what the ultimate, outcome is going to be. Look at the opportunity that's being presented to you, and look at their character. Look at their past record of what they've done. And yes, I'm being vague in many areas here. However, if you're really thinking about how you're going to win with whatever is presented in front of you, if it's through your own creative ability, or if it's being approached by somebody saying, hey, can you do this? Because I know you're good at it, but it's going to take 20 hours of your week, and which is going to take you away from precious time with the husband or the spouse, or if it's going to be away from the kids, or even from your community activities. And you're sacrificing in the name of win. And we have to be able to choose wisely. One of the things that's weird, it's quirky, but at the same time, I still believe in it. I think every company should have a chief wisdom officer. Somebody who sits back, not involved in any of the ties of decisions with the company, but they sit back, they see everything, and they're called in to be able to make or help the right choices to be made. You know, because they see it from an outsider. They see it from here, they see it from there, they see it from him or her or whatever. But it's wisdom. So who's your person that's going to keep you accountable? Who is that person that you're going to be able to give feedback to and say, hey, this is what I'm involved in. What should I do? Are you willing to put your faith into somebody who's going to analyze it and say, hey, I think you should wait 2 months on it? No, I can't wait 2 months. I can't. I got to dive into it now because he's going to go to Dave. So those are the things that you've got to be able to say no to, or please wait, or maybe. But the wise person's going to be the one who is going to sit back and analyze, who's going to get a mentor to come in and advise them, give them wisdom, and then at the end of the day, ultimately, you have to make a choice that is going to better your life and your family's life, and even your friends' lives, because friends depend on you too. That's where I kind of fell short in the last 2 years, and I'm starting to realize that, Dave, is that I've let my friends down. Because I've always been that person, hey, how are you? What's been going on? What can I pray for? What's going on in your life? I haven't been doing that much lately. You know, and it's like, that's not who I am. Right. But I get so caught up in these choices because I want to thrive, I want to achieve, I want to build a legacy for my kids, I want to be able to retire, I want to be able to go into ministry, I want to be able to do all these things, but I'm my worst enemy because I just don't always make the right choice. So I need that person, and I'm developing too. I may have all of these great answers for you, but I'm struggling in my own life. And I may say it to you, but at the same time, I get caught up because I know what I can do. I know what I can achieve out there. But at the end of the day, you know, did I make the right choice? Did I say yes before I should have said no, or hey, hold off a couple days on that. If I happen to lose it, I lose it.
Right.
But at the same time, let me make the right choice.
I love it. Yeah, I think you bring up a lot of really, you know, valid points for a lot of people out there, especially when it comes to the sacrifice side of things. I think all too often we are so quick to think about the win, like you said, right? Oh my gosh, we can do it. I don't want anybody else to do it. I want to be the ones to make it happen. That we don't really see all the other stuff around us. We got the blinders that are on to what that win means, and we don't see that in the course of trying to chase that, to make it happen, you know, we're sacrificing our relationships. We're sacrificing our friends, like you mentioned. We're sacrificing, you know, our children, our husbands, our wives, our families, our, you know, mothers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins. And for what? For what exactly do we do that for? And we lose, you know, the purposefulness behind what we do, trying to chase something and attain something that in the end probably is not the right decision for us to make. And that's where the avoidance aspect comes into play, how we have to be able to recognize what we should avoid versus what we sometimes run into, right? I think oftentimes we're running into burning buildings, you know, thinking we're going to be the hero, and the truth of the matter is we become a casualty, you know, just like others have become casualties.
I loved it the other day. I'm a hero maker, not a hero.
There you go.
You know, it's like we want to be able to produce the type of heroes out there. We don't have to have the limelight. Yeah. Is it okay if I share something personal between us?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Okay, so you had...
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold on. We're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to come back.
Call me. I'll tell you what
See
it's all about.
All right, and we're back. I'm sorry. You were saying how incredible I am and amazing I am. And
That's funny. I just saw something when I was a kid. It would have worked perfect here. No, I won't kiss you for $1.
Right.
For some reason, it just came to me. You know, when I was like, no, I won't kiss you for $1.
I love it.
Or when my dad was, my dad always taught me that if there's 3 guys in the front seat, the guy at the window always ducks. You know, it's just weird thoughts right now. It's just coming back. So what were we talking about? Because it was really good. Oh, personal. So I appreciate you guys listening to this conversation because hopefully it will adapt, that there's merit to what we're saying because we're living through it. But you had an opportunity out there that you presented me with. And, you know, and sometimes, you know, we all have our vision of what we want to choose for ourselves, how we want to do it. I think, oh my gosh, My life lessons tells me I should go over there or whatever. You patiently sat back and said, hey, Bret, whatever you want to do, I'm supporting you. Whatever you want to do, man. Just know we're here. But, go do your thing. Call me if you need me. Before on one of the breaks, I mentioned to you about, hey, I would like to talk to you about what you came to me about a year ago. The reason why I'm bringing this up, and it wasn't a year ago, it was about 3 months ago, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we have to step back sometimes. Sometimes we have to evolve through the lessons in order to find us in the wonder circle. And you got to be patient through that process.
Yeah, I think patience is a very strong word, that we seem to avoid a lot of times as individuals. And unfortunately, a lot of that is because we've become a society of instant gratification.
Yeah. Oh,
I applaud you, brother, for stepping off of social media. I myself have stepped back from Facebook as much as I have been, only putting a few things out there here and there, for a lot of the same reasons that you shared, right? And we really have become a society of instant gratification through our electronic devices, through fast delivery of convenience to our homes, whether it be from certain companies that drop stuff off in 2 days or less on your doorstep when you buy it, or people who are delivering meals that you've ordered in less than 30 minutes. We have become that society of instant gratification, and patience has gone out the window, right? People just don't know how to employ that anymore. They don't know how to practice that anymore. And if we all had an opportunity to take the time and take a step back and really be patient in what we are looking at and the decisions that we're making, I firmly believe that you watching this right now could make changes in your life by employing that type of exercise that would benefit you tremendously. In the previous show, I talked about my book, and it's not a hard habit to break, and I'm not plugging that here right now, but one of the things that I talk about in there is exactly what we're talking about now. And, Bret, how different would it be for people to take that time, to be patient and wait for those things, versus trying to get that instant gratification that we've become used to because of the society that we've become?
It's status.
Right?
It's basically hoping that we can gain a status to who we are, like Facebook. That status, I'm hoping people are seeing what I'm saying, because I'm really meaning it. But behind the scenes, you really want to see who's paying attention.
Yeah.
How much of an impact am I making out there? Should I change this? Should I do this? And it's like what I'm realizing personally is that, patience does play into it. Being prepared plays into it. But at the same time, having an understanding of what you really want for yourself. We could talk about being a game changer all day long and, hey, you need to do this, you should do this. It's, if you really want to have this, or if you really want to live this lifestyle, you need to do this. But you know what? You may be sitting out there right now and you may be totally content with what you have. But at the same time, you want a betterment. You want to better yourself in how or what you have, and to be the best at it. And so we can never assume anything for anybody. That's for them to decide. For me, I'm a go-getter. I want to produce. I want to produce my movies. I want to write books. I want to be able to be on stage and talk to people. It's just, that's a desire that I have. It doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, it's all about who I am and what I can do. No, it's just the fact is that I know I have some gifts, and I want to be able to utilize those in a way that's going to be truly effective for people to make their own choices about themselves. It's how we evolve through that process, knowing that we're only a vessel to be able to get a message out there, a narrative out there for people to absorb, and then to say, okay, I think I can do this. Right now, I'm involved in writing something that has to do with a routine. And sometimes we get caught up into routines and we end up failing at the routine because we never put ourselves through the process of what that routine was for the first place. And we never give ourselves credit enough of what we did in the routine, but since we didn't complete the routine, now we're failing in the routine, and then we stop altogether. We have to have a change of mindset with that. If you accomplished anything during that routine, good for you. You are on your way to better yourself. It's a step, it's a process, it's a way that we get so caught up into, well, people are watching, or oh, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm not liking what I'm seeing because I'm not as aggressive as I should be, and it's like, or we see those, adventure movies and we walk out of the theater feeling like Macho Man, and within the next day we're right back to being normal again. Don't put yourself so much on the front line where you don't like what you see and then all of a sudden you drop out. Just be a part of the pack. Do whatever you can consistently and persistently, get better at it, and then start edging yourself forward to the front of the pack. Don't put too much of a restriction on who you have to be, or what you want to be, or the parameters of what life should be. Take it simple. Just be able to take a step back and see changes that you want to make for yourself, and start to progress towards who you would like to be. But don't be too hard on yourself if you don't get there soon enough. It is about being a game changer. It's about challenging yourself and making progress every day as you step forward. And you know what? If you happen to step back too far, call a friend, call a mentor, call a coach, and be honest. I reached out to a coach yesterday, and it's something that is just not evolving exactly the way I wanted to, and we had a great 15-minute conversation, and I felt great after it, because again, that reassurance of what somebody can say. Dave's a mentor of mine. Dave gives me reassurances all the time. Bro, don't worry about it. You're on the right track. Keep going. This will eventually dissipate, and you'll start to see more of the positives than the negatives. So what's happening in your life right now? Are you seeing more positives or negatives? If it's too many negatives, then reach out to somebody. Break down what's going on, and being able to be equipped for constructive criticism. And then, you receive that, you start to develop that, you adapt to it, and then you start to change to who you want to be personally or in business. And then it gets you to the point where you are that game changer. And now, what is the balance of being a game changer in your life? You got to decide for yourself how much of that capacity can you fulfill in your life without sacrificing too much of the rest of your life. So I think I've gone all around, but at the same time, it comes back to choices. Comes back to being patient. Comes back to being able to have the power of no. And then, if you say yes, give everything you have. Don't flake through the process. Give everything you have. Then, reevaluate at a certain point to know that you are still going in the right direction. And we've been faced with that in the past. And we've had to make tough decisions, because we thought it was going to be this way, it's this way, and all of a sudden we have to pull back. And it's not always easy, because sometimes you think your credibility is on the line.
Right.
And what are people going to think? But ultimately, it doesn't matter what people think. It's what you need to do to better yourself through that process.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Absolutely. All right, we'll be back for some fun in just a couple. See you soon. All right, it's my favorite time of the show. Now, Bret has no idea what he's about to go through, because I deliberately did not tell him like I do with all my guests. So, Bret, I'm calling an audible.
Okay.
And what we are going to do is I am going to say stuff to you that I just want you to respond to with whatever comes to the top of your mind. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have no idea.
Is there a right answer, or?
Well, that's up to you. That's up to you. All right, here we go. Ready?
This is why I don't do Jeopardy and
Right.
Wheel of Fortune and all that stuff.
Icy or Slurpee?
Icy.
Icy. Okay, what flavor?
Cherry.
Cherry. Love cherry. That's good. Chicago style or New York style pizza?
Chicago.
Chicago. Darth Vader or Darth Maul?
Do I have another option?
No, that's it. Only two.
Darn it. I guess because of my Darth Vader.
Darth Vader? Why? Why Darth Vader?
Because we were growing up with Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stuff. So it's I'm just not that galactic type of person. But at the same time, I appreciate the history of everything.
Okay. Keeping with sci-fi.
Yeah.
Favorite Star Trek captain?
Oh, it has to be the original. Has to be. Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk?
Yeah, it has to be. There's no one has even come close.
Okay, I love it. All right.
Ever seen the tight shirts that he wears and
Right.
always in those battles and everything? I want to be just like him.
I just don't want to be a red shirt, because those guys always go first. What's the last book you read?
It would be the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. What book are you reading now?
Psalms.
Okay.
Because it gives me a sense of awareness and it gives me a sense of calm.
Oh, for sure. For sure, I agree, 100%. Last movie that you watched?
Wow. I'm not good at. That's almost asking me what was the last dinner. What was my dinner last night?
Wow, this is really stumping me. This is like 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I've asked what last
Because
movie
it's
that
been
you
like
watched.
3 months since I've seen a movie, so it's. I don't know. I have to get back to you on that one. I know I saw a movie, and I had popcorn with butter.
There you go.
I just don't.
Don't remember what you were
you know what it was? It was the one with Woody Harrelson with the 3 signs. That was the last movie I saw.
Woody Harrelson with 3 signs.
With the billboards.
Oh, Mississippi. Billboards in Mississippi.
Yeah, that was the last.
If I got that wrong,
That was
I'm
the
sorry.
last movie
Yeah,
I saw.
gotcha. Okay.
Woohoo! I got it right.
Last questions.
Yes.
Will the Raiders win the Super Bowl?
No. Wait, when? I mean, how long? Not this year.
This year. This year.
No, the Raiders won't win. You know who has a chance at San Diego?
Oh, the Chargers.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Chargers. I think they have a chance this year.
All right, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Not
I
one.
think Phillips Rivers is and I'm not a fan necessarily, and I love that the Eagles won, but it just he has been consistent, and he deserves a championship.
I don't disagree with you. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Interesting choice, not
Yeah.
one I've heard recently.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
San
get it,
Diego.
I get it.
Hey, mark it
But
now.
I'm a baseball fan. So it's like I'm all about the baseball. But my Angels, they haven't shown up in the last 16 years.
No, that's true. That's
So-
true. Now, if you remember correctly, when we had our Super Bowl show, the guest I had on at the time and I actually predicted the Eagles to win. So I'm not going to
Okay.
predict the Chargers are going to win.
Okay,
but
so
just-
are you Raiders?
Right.
Are you?
No, I'm a
predicting
Steelers fan.
Oh, so,
yeah, born and bred,
okay,
diehard
that's-
all the
okay,
way.
All right, you do have class.
right.
You do have class.
Well,
That's a
yeah,
great.
a little bit. Don't tell
Yeah.
anybody.
Okay.
So thanks for joining us, brother.
Pleasure.
I
Thank you
appreciate
so
your
much.
time.
Thank
And
you.
listen, we appreciate your time as well. So we look forward to seeing you again on the next show. And in between now and then, take some of this advice to heart. Go back, watch the show again, write it down. Go live a life of prosperity. Go be a game changer. I'm Dave Schmall. We'll see you soon.